Larnell. Hey, congratulations on your completed
Wow.
series for the Continental on Peacock.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Glad you enjoyed it.
You know what? I love these, the John Wick movies and you bringing
Mhm.
expanding the world through the Continental. So let me first ask you this. Following the John Wick movies that they have done
Mhm.
practically everything action-wise and they
Yeah.
reach the bar. How do you follow something like that as an action director? How do you design something where practically Chad
Mhm.
done everything?
Well, look, I'm fortunate in the sense that Chad is my mentor. I'm part of the 87 action team myself. But I'd never worked on any of the Wick films. I was always working on something else. So I've never had what I would call my opportunity to dip my foot in this world. I've watched as an observer and as a team member and applauded and say, wow, these guys are doing such an amazing job. They keep leveling up film after film. But fortunately for me, I didn't have to compete with the modern day. We're the 70s. So with that being said, it was easier to choreograph stuff based off of that time frame where you had judo, karate, taekwondo, kung fu. Those were the more popular styles in the 70s. And they were presented a different way. They were just really gritty, kind of dirty, even a little sloppy at times. So I leaned into that, which allowed me to say, hey, here's our voice in an extension of this world without having to compete, because you can't compete, against that. They're a monster. They're like, 150, 120 budget films. We're TV. So we have half the amount of time and even less. So, we just had to be as creative as we can. And yeah, I'm happy we deliver something that seems like the audience is enjoying.
Now, as part of the 87 team, from my understanding, you also use them through the series themselves. Could you talk about working with them again and how familiar they are with all these action sequences?
Well, so for me, I am a member of 87. So I represent the team. So for me, it's about just saying, hey, look, we're a brand, but even if you're a brand, you're still an individual. Just like if you say, hey, I want this football team, the football team has a coach, the football team has a quarterback. Each quarterback may operate the team a little different. A coach may operate the team different. So when you hire one of us to oversee your project, the thing we have in common that I would say is how to train actors, how to present the action, the consistency of delivering, and also a level of excellence that's expected. So we put more pressure on ourselves than anybody would ever put on us. Because once you hear 87 Lemons behind something, you start thinking of, oh, Deadpool, John Wick, Atomic Blonde, and you start thinking of these high octane action movies with great choreography. So for me, at the end of the day, it's about hiring the right people with me, giving them a chance to find their voice, express themselves, but also packaging it the way people expect it should be presented. So yeah, all teamwork.
Now, of course, Continental is without John Wick because it is decades ago, way before John Wick. But
Mhm.
Keanu, tell us about not working with Keanu Reeves, who does, I want to say 90 to 95% of his fighting and stunts. So
Mhm.
how do you handle the actors who aren't Keanu Reeves for the series?
Well, you take each actor individually, you find out their strengths and their weaknesses, and you cater to their strengths. Whether they played football in the past, whether they played cricket, whether they played tennis, that way okay, she's got footwork, she knows how to handle a weapon, she knows how to have a backhand. So you build upon those, then you take it and apply it to the character. And you look at how much time you have. We normally start with choreographing and stunt vising these sequences sometimes before the actors are even cast. So when they get there, they see what's expected of them, and it allows them to commit to the training to get there. Some may have 4 weeks, some may have 6 weeks, some may have 2 months. For example, our actor Ben Robson, who played Frankie, he was cast kind of late in the game. So he only had 3.5 weeks of training, period. That included guns, that included learning the fight choreography, that included physicality, And then he had in 3.5 weeks had to do that big stairwell sequence. So even though Keanu sets the bar high, um, got to keep in mind their film, where TV, Keanu would have months and months and months. We had weeks. So you just had to be really precise with your training program. But each actor, they understood what they were in for when they signed on to be a part of this universe, and they all stepped up.
Now, I've heard somewhere you coordinated so many different fighting styles into this series, but I also heard that
Mhm.
you didn't coordinate judo. Could you talk about that?
Didn't didn't
Yeah.
coordinate judo. Well, I would say that was avoided on purpose because judo is one of the main styles that Keanu did. And if we're going to have our voice and say, hey, we don't have a Wick, so let's stay away from what Wick is known for. So the audience doesn't go, oh, there they go, just doing the same moves John Wick did. Couldn't he be more creative than that? That's what will be said. So our thing was, okay, we're happy that no one is doing gun fu in judo because now we have a chance to do karate, taekwondo, kung fu, wrestling. We have a chance to do so many other things. So, Frankie, even though he did a little, I'm happy that there wasn't a consistent style throughout the show, because then we would have been compared to the modern day action. And you can't compare with that. They got way more time, way more resources, and they had beasts, Donnie Yen, Marcos Aurora, Scott Atkins. These are people who are martial artists already and are master martial artists. So when you're watching them perform, these are the type of guys that could walk on set and learn the choreography on the spot. We're dealing with actors who have never done a fight scene before. So, with that being said, I am happy that one of the styles was not judo because that's not an easy style to pick up and perform with the limited amount of time we had, and try to do it as proficiently as Keanu. Forget about it.
Most excellent. Well, Larnell, congratulations with the Continental. Thank you for speaking to us about the Continental. And I do love the term gun fu because that's what this world is all about.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you.